Good evening, everyone. We're going to take a look at Keep on the Borderlands, actually Heroes of the Borderlands, and Keep on the Borderlands. I have Cade here, I have David here, I have Sam here, and they played in a couple different groups that played this adventure that I just ran over the last 2 months, I'd say. We played once a week, had a couple weeks off there, and they can fill you in on what they thought of the adventure. And I'll fill you in on what I thought of the adventure. And we'll also compare and contrast it to the original Keep on the Borderlands adventure and what was improved, what was not improved between those two adventures. If you have any questions, hit us up in the chat and I'll try and answer any questions you guys have too. So we're looking at the cover right now for the Heroes of the Borderlands. Sam, that should bring back some poor memories for your group.
Yes. that was a brutal fight.
Yeah. David, your group, and Cade, your group, you guys never found the Red Dragon, never fought the Red Dragon.
Yeah, we weren't so lucky.
Yeah, no. He was set behind the ogre, who, was such a pain in the ass that you guys just didn't deal with him at all.
I was
exactly
about
right.
to protest the lack of the Red Dragon in the adventure that I played, but I guess it was in there and we just missed it, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the other group, they ran into that ogre when they were second level and defeated it handily, but then the Red Dragon came out. And they almost beat the Red Dragon, but at second level, it was harsh. And plus, of course, I ramp up the damage. I was doing 1.2 times damage on that thing. And so the breath weapons were crucial, devastating for the party. And one of them made it out alive. And then Sam brought in the spade as part of the reinforcements that came in after the Red Dragon decimation in that adventure.
Yeah, that was a fun episode to listen to after the fact, knowing some of the things that they hit, and then it was like, oh, that's there. This isn't going to go well.
Right? Yeah, you know what's in every room as you're watching them play it. It's pretty fun. Have you guys all gone and read the adventure yet?
I have not.
Not yet? Okay. So I ran it for David and Cade's group first, and I ran it as written. I would not suggest doing that. I think it's pretty bad the way it's written. I can see their goals, and there's an article that they have about what their goals were, about their goals being that you can kind of alternate out DMs, and each little section is self-contained and can be played in an hour. But a lot of those sections end up then there's no stakes to them. There's no gravity to them. There's no, engagement from the players to them. One of them, the players are actually literally trying to avoid paper cuts. I can't imagine if that was my first session of D&D as a player. What did you guys do? Oh, we played this game D&D. Oh, yeah, what was that like? Well, we didn't get any paper cuts. So I would highly recommend not running it as written in that regard. And even if you are doing like the episodic nature of it, to probably skip a few of those episodes, and we can kind of talk about which ones I think those are. And you guys can talk about what you thought. So I started the adventure out in the actual keep itself. And I have the map of the keep here. This is by Will Doyle and Stacey Allan, I imagine, made this keep map. Nice overview. The players come into the main gate there. And then there's really nicely crafted adventure, the way the booklets are laid out. The first encounter in each booklet, and there's a booklet for the keep, there's a booklet for the wilderness, there's a booklet for the caves of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
The first encounter is kind of a tutorial encounter. So let's take a look at that first encounter here. Keep on the Borderlands, getting started. You have kind of an introduction you can read to the players as they're approaching the keep. It's an immense keep. We should talk a little bit about where in the world of Greyhawk is headed too. I mean, can you imagine what they spent to make a keep that impressive? That's not like a little border fort.
Right.
Yeah. Did you guys think that in your head when you're playing? Like, what's this doing here?
It did not meet my picture of the little border fort on the Borderlands.
Right.
Because this was the keep on the major trade route of a booming empire or something like that.
Yeah, so I went to, let's see here. This map I really like by Jez Gordon. And he's got the keep here at Grimfell Keep. east of the city of Hawkok and south of the dim forest, north of the Rushmores, north of the Whitewood and the Stark Mounds. So it fits into the world of Greyhawk. Here's where it is in the actual world of Greyhawk. Darlene map. So here's Hawkok here. And it's kind of like in this no man's land between Grand March and Grand Duchy of Jeff, I think it's pronounced. And you got this dim forest, which is all wildlands, and the Rushmores, which are dangerous. And so it's fitting that it's kind of there. And it's the easternmost frontier of the Grand Duchy of Jeff. And the Grand Duchy, they have a lot of money. And so they made a huge keep there on the Borderlands. So that's where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'll go back to the actual adventure booklet. So the party arrives there, into the keep, got some introductory writing. Now, the nice thing about this new adventure is they did a pretty good job make the writing much more terse, much shorter, get the action back to the players right away. The original adventure, which I played the original adventure, I'll share this tab here. That's my crew. Stranger Things type crew in 1981 or 82, one of our birthdays. We were playing the Keep on the Borderlands that day. And
is that a Huffy bike in the background too?
Yeah. Yep.
That's perfect.
Got our best jacket on. Yeah. Kermit the Frog from the Muppets up there. My little brother, he was 7 years old, I think, 7 or 8 years old. All the rest of us were the same age.
Wow.
So we played the original adventure back then, the original Keep on the Borderlands. Let me share this. And if you guys are watching, if you have any questions, let us know in the chat. Oh, there we go. Amazing pick. Thanks, Doug. Thanks for watching, Doug. So here's the original adventure. And while I'm bringing this up, when did you start playing, Cade? What was your first intro to D&D?
It's probably about 86, 87. I had just moved to a town and had a friend that was playing, and I had heard about it, was interested, and so that was maybe 7th grade for me. It was the red box set when I first started playing.
The Frank Metzer edited one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Sam?
My first was, I think I was watching a lot of Critical Role in like 2015, 2016, and my friends all play board games. So I was like, maybe we can try out just kind of messing around, like make up our own system, whatever. And one of my friends, actually, his older brother, had the D&D books. So he was like, let's try out D&D. And so we tried to like kind of just use random stuff and make up stuff, and kind of learn that coherence is kind of important in a campaign, and nothing really made sense. It was kind of fun.
Overrated.
And then I saw your games, and I saw the Tomb of Annihilation, and I kind of just really liked it. It's this, maybe this isn't really possible to do, but if you play super well and get a little bit lucky and really like push for it, you can like really do some fun gameplay, and I kind of really like that element of it.
That was a great campaign. Did you play it at all?
I read through a lot of it and like kind of like played around with it, but not actually played it. No.
Yeah. Well, you played like you were like an old time player, so well done there. And
I think that's a compliment.
Speaking of old time players, David, when did you start?
I started in 77 with the Holmes box set came out.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, it didn't come with an adventure. It came with the Dungeon Geomorphs, because who needs an adventure when you can just take these maps and roll up all your treasure and monsters for the map. I'm kind of joking about that, but that was the attitude of TSR before they realized that, hey, wait a minute, people will buy adventures too, and we can sell them.
The first adventures were 78 with G1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. First from TSR. The thing that clued them in that people might buy adventures was the Palace of the Silver Princess that was distributed through TSR and wasn't much of an adventure. It was just basically a table of monsters and treasures. But
you said Palace of the Silver Princess, you meant Palace of the Vampire Queen?
Palace of the Vampire Queen. You're right.
Got it.
Little
A little slip
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wish they hadn't shipped out the first Palace of the Silver Princess. That's
that was
story.
That was the one that got memory hold, right? The one that got
yeah. They had to pull back and get the artwork out of it because they were making fun of all their bosses in the artwork. So anyway, here's the adventure. This is not the very first adventure I ever played. I played B1 first. B1 came in the Holmes box when I ran that. Yeah, it's great, Doug, that everyone's from different starting points in time. I mean, we have a great little community in the d20play Discord, and there's like 270 members now from, all different, on-ramps to TTRPGs. I've gotten, I think, 400 subscribers on my YouTube channel just from my one Shadow Dark adventure. So Shadow Dark brought a lot of people in too. Okay, so here is what the adventure looked like at the start. And imagine you're a 10-year-old and you're trying to run this adventure. We'll get to the maps in a second, but I mean, it's just like walls of text with no differentiation of what should you describe to the players, what's stuff they can see versus what stuff that should be secret from them. And it can be real difficult to parse that out real time. I would always mark these up with highlighters as far as what to read and what not to read. They would have some good advice in them. I mean, this one had advice as if you were picking up the game for the very first time ever. And it has how to be an effective dungeon master with actually some good stuff in it that still kind of holds today. Maybe not holds today with regard to holding the hand of a new player that Wizards of the Coast might do. But this advice here, it's important that the DM give accurate information, but the choice of action is the player's decision. The DM needs to be neutral, talks about that. The DM must be neutral. If a party has played well and succeeded, the DM should not punish them by sending more and more monsters at them. And if they've acted foolishly, they should get their just rewards. So some good advice about being neutral and really letting the players guide the action. And this adventure is such a sandbox that that's how they wrote these adventures in the start. So let's get down to where you start. You have traveled for many days, leaving the realm and entering into the wider area of the borderlands. Farms and towns have become less frequent, travelers few. The road climbs high as you enter the forested and mountainous country. You come to the keep then. DM has notes about the keep. And the DM's going to, from this huge background, parse out what should I give the players? Because I don't want to read them this whole thing. I'll just bore them to death. And then when you get into the keep itself, they have the rumor table here, which in the new version, they've dispersed to all the NPCs. All the NPCs have one or more of these rumors on them. And then you have, what's inside the keep. And as a player going in, you don't, there's so much minutia about every little bit. And it's hard to parse out what the adventure might be. So it's a lot for a new player. That's for sure. And the keep ends right here. So let's compare that to the new keep. New keep on the Borderlands. You got getting started. Read them. You ascend a winding road through a forested and mountainous country. They kept some of the words. The guards hail you as you approach. And then they have these nice little summary tables with all these different locations. And every one of these is set up basically on 2 facing pages, except for the first one, which takes up 4 because it's got instructions on how to play. And on those 2 facing pages, they have a map, or they don't, not in the keep they don't have a map, but they have things that you can find out, things you can purchase, and then quests that you can go on for every one of these locations. So if we look at one that gets a lot of bad press, would be the barn. So you come to the barn. Oh, and I should probably look at, the first section is the outer gatehouse, and it tells you with sidebars in the booklet format, kind of how to do things, how to read the box text, the NPC descriptions, the rumors. Like I said, the rumors of the old adventure are dispersed amongst these. At a role play, gate features, gatehouse, entry screening, and then to the barn. So the barn, you get a fetch quest, like a chore really, to go find some goats, which is just horrible if that's the only thing you're doing. But I kept it in because I like how it ties into something really horrendous that happens later on in the adventure, where one of those goats is sacrificed and its blood is used to draw the chaos spell on the chapel of the Keep on the Borderlands. So I kept that one in there, retoned it that way, and I don't think I'd figured that out when I ran that for you, Dave and Cade, but I did figure it out when I ran it for Sam's group. So,
tell me this, Tom. Is there a mechanism that the adventure provides to parcel this out for a DM in a short session, or is it?
Let's say you're going to DM a session. You'll just pick up, and you're going to say, "Okay, I'm going to run the DMs now. I'm going to run the smithy." So you open up the booklet, and the booklets, there's 4 of them that come in the adventure book, and we're looking at of course, not the format of the booklet here, but the booklet format is on 2 facing pages for the smithy, or actually it's only on 1 page. So if I share the screen here, there we go. So there's the smithy all on 1 page. So everything you need to do, you open it up as the DM, and you have the read aloud text. You have the NPC card. When the characters arrive, you just read that text. And then you come down to the features of the smithy that you can describe as the characters are exploring. And then the smithy services. They can brand leather for you. And then there'll be some sort of quest. If the character is asked to purchase armor or weapons, the smith will explain that she no longer sells those to outsiders, and she'll give a reason. Because everyone she sells ends up in the hands of the Cult of Chaos and comes back to attack the keep. And then you have a little chore that you can do, a weapon smelting chore, where you roll a strength check or a dex check to try and smelt down some weapons with the smith. And if you do that, you get some gold. And that's really, in my opinion, very unsatisfying. So that was one of the ones I removed for sure. Let's take a look at the ones I removed. So I have here. Here we go. Share this. This is my video for the DM tips for Keep on the Borderland. And so if you want to, I think there's a link to this in the notes below. We have the actual play for the 4 adventures, the 4 sessions we ran. And then in the Keep, I listed out all the different areas and kind of a summary of what the task is. So you have the barn, and the ones I recommend keeping are the barn, where you have the goats, plus there's a sacrifice. You have the trader, which sends you to go get a wagon that hasn't arrived, and there's a dangerous stowaway in that wagon where you can fight a monster. There's the tavern. There's a chug championship on that, which is con saves. And Cade, you can speak to that. You did that one, right?
My character didn't, but we watched that. I just thought that was, like you said, just kind of unsatisfying. And if that was your first, and it was just, here, roll con checks, and it had the kind of, in my opinion, almost the opposite of
heroic.
No, and I think that's the hard thing, is that there's a certain fantasy, right? We're here for a heroic fantasy, and want to see that happen. And then the first things you do is, well, my dwarf who chugs ale for 50 years is out on the first round, right? I mean, it's just very unsatisfying.
Yeah. The whole thing has the feeling that you've done articles on this, David, of a fair, a carnival, that type of adventure, which are a bane, I think, to the hobby. Okay, so back to what I'd recommend keeping and not keeping. Okay, so you have the barn, but you're going to have the sacrifice in, so it's going to have some gravity to it. It's going to be important. You're going to find some of those goats, and then you're going to find one having been sacrificed. And then that'll give you a tie-in, a better relationship with Cornflower, the keeper of the barn there, and you can make friends with her, and she has a place you can stay, and so that'll help you. The dangerous stowaway. Okay, so instead of the chug championship, I would replace that with Lost Cake and Lost Niece. That doesn't go on. Okay. And this is kind of a neat thing that you can do that I just ran the Delian Tomb for MCDM. And one thing they do in the Delian Tomb, it's a real sandboxy adventure like this one. And you kind of make your own destiny. But it starts off with a little small dungeon adventure right away. Someone runs into the tavern in town, begs your help because their daughter was taken by goblins. This is exactly the same thing. The owner of the tavern is the uncle to a girl who wanders the wilderness around here. And first of all, when I read that, I thought that's dumb. Why are little kids wandering around the wilderness that these great heroes are going to go and have
be careful, don't go there.
These great heroes are going to have a hard time in. And so I said, okay, well, she was captured by goblins. There's a story about her uncle having, ordering a birthday cake for her and it getting captured by he doesn't know who. He got captured by the goblins. She got captured by the goblins. The goblins, for some reason, are throwing a birthday party at the Caves of Chaos. Doesn't say why, but now you got a reason why. Because they captured the crate full of the birthday supplies. They captured the crate full of the birthday cake. They captured the girl. They're throwing her birthday party for themselves, and then they're going to eat her when they're done. And the party can go save her and stop that. And her uncle will beg them to do that. And that's right away. They're doing something heroic. And it all makes a little bit more sense for the adventure. And goblins are Fae now, so they're going to act a little, how would you say Fae act? They can be pretty dark, pretty evil in their pranks and stuff. Okay, then the temple, keeping the temple, that's good because that's where you find the symbol of the bell. And then in the fortress, you can have an official errand where if you explore enough the wilderness and bring back information, you can get some. It's a chore quest, but it's one that's pretty good because you're going to be exploring out in the wilderness anyway. The rest of them, you got, do some chores, pick some locks, smelt some weapons, investigate a closet, catch or confront a thief, do a wake-up call without waking anyone else besides when you're supposed to wake up, avoid paper cuts, avoid deceived guards, do chores, just bad stuff. So I took all the gold for all of that and I just said, okay, that's an extra 250 plus a magic item plus a writ that can be rewards for the party coming back having defeated parts of the Caves of Chaos. So that's what I'd recommend doing there. I'd recommend only doing these guys and then get out to the Caves of Chaos right away. If you're doing this, episodic like thing where you're alternating DMs. And if you're doing it where you're just one DM, just do those. Don't even worry about the rest of them. What do you guys think? David, what were your thoughts on the keep?
Well, you mentioned it. I'm not a big fan of the Carnival games sort of introduction where you come and get into a low stakes problem solving mode and try and win the stuffed animal or a few gold pieces for rolling the right check. Yeah. I don't think that's a good way to get people passionate about this hobby.
Mm-hmm. I felt bad running it for you guys. I wanted to run it as written, right? To just experience how it was written. But then, God, we're getting halfway through that session. I'm like, these are horrible encounters. They're avoiding paper cuts. They're losing drinking competitions. Finally, they go to the adventure, and you guys are like, I think, so downtrodden and not paying attention by that point that you make some pretty grievous attention errors that got some people killed. You may or may not have been able to get out of that, but there were some pretty bad errors being made there. So I felt bad by the end of that session that it really went horrible, and it was kind of set up by just the low stakes of the start of it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was surprised at the beginning of when you were setting up. You read the box text. We're approaching the keep, and I thought, oh, here it comes. Roll initiative. We're going to have bandits. We're going to have twig blights. We're going to have goblins. We're going to have something happen, and then all of a sudden we're doing just like what you said. I think the first stop we made was to the barn. It's like, oh, we're looking for goats, and we're it's And I got the paper cuts, and it was just a matter of rolling. And there was
2 hit points out of 8. Yeah, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would have almost killed my wizard there. But and I think the problem is that even those, like what David was talking about with the fairs, there's no agency, there's no skill, there's no actual role play involved in the thing. It's just throwing a die and seeing what happens, and it doesn't engage us at all.
Yeah. Sam, how did it go when I ran it for you guys?
The first session I liked. I think I watched the first session kind of half on, half off, but the first session I was in, I liked.
Yeah.
You weren't. Although I think we were past. Yeah, I think we were past most of this stuff. We were already like, okay, we've seen the caves already. It's time to go. I think we were trying to cartography, right? We're trying to like map out what is here, really, like scout it.
So, to your point, Kate, I did run it differently than I ran a lot of things in that it started out not with combat, not with any, exploration of a dungeon site. It was exploration of the keep site and find out what's going on there. But with the pared down list, that goes pretty quick. And you get right away to, there's a kid missing. There's this goat blood on the temple. There's some sort of cult. Things are dangerous. Let's go find that kid. And, they get out there and get out into that adventure real quick. So if you do that, let me go to the map here.
I was going to say about these ones we skipped. It looks like 3 of them are do chores. That's ridiculous.
Oh, they're
like
bad.
3 of them
they're
are do chores. Like if you could get each of those done in 1 minute of real time, maybe you could like get something out of that and just say like, okay, everyone make a roll. This is what we get. This is what we don't get. Okay, just like really rush through it. That could maybe be salvageable, but that seems.
Or take the other way and just, almost lean into the narrative of it and say, all right, Spade, describe what it looked like as you won the drinking championship.
Like invite them into the role playing element of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe what that's.
So you could do.
Let me pontificate just for a moment about that agency thing you were talking about. If you've ever played with kids who are new to role-playing games, you'll notice that one of the first things they do is they start trying outrageous, instigating things because they're not used to a game where they can try anything, where they can choose to do anything. So it's really exciting and fun to make choices and seeing the effect of the choice ripple out into this imaginary game world. That's like the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And you've got this situation that you've set up here and this thing where you roll a few dice. The fun is not rolling a few checks. The fun is being able to make choices and seeing the consequences in the game world. Yeah. So they're just taking the wrong approach entirely with this kind of thing. But carry on, Tom. Go on.
Preach.
That's good.
Preach.
That's good. So if you want to do something like the Delian Tomb where you have a quest to go get right away, you could set up where they need to go get, what is this NPC's name? Malin, I believe. Yeah, Malin. So this is the niece of the owner of the tavern, captured by goblins. The crate for the birthday supplies for her birthday was also captured. And the goblins are throwing a birthday party for themselves with the stuff out of the crate. So here's the birthday party streamer set up, and a half-eaten birthday cake is in this room. Some goblin presents are here for their goblin queen. They have Malin here, just getting ready to, eat her after they've had their party. So it really makes it dark. The original adventure actually has a dwarf tied up here, but the dwarf has really no relation at all to anything else going on. So definitely.
Right, we got the dwarf.
You got the dwarf.
Our group, we got the dwarf, yeah.
Yeah. And you can get in there, rescue her. You can go fight goblins if you want. There's the goblin queen and her court. She'll run away into a giant spider cave, so you can end up fighting a giant spider. The 2 times I ran it, I did not do this. I just left it completely up to the players. They knew she was missing on the second group, but they didn't have any clue exactly where she was missing at. So if you wanted to, you could really direct the party to here for their first adventure.
Is that how the adventure kind of steers it? Is there like a mission sort of structure for this?
Not. Or no, the adventure is just really sandboxy. There
Okay.
is no indication of any reason really to go to the caves, except to go find treasure and adventure. That's really the only thing. And so, yeah, talking about how to kind of steer some structure to it. First of all, sandbox is awesome, but having a little bit of structure is also good, or some goals that the party might know of. So I'm sharing this article here. This is by the D&D Beyond staff, and Justice, who wrote the adventure, wrote this. It talks about, or who led the design of the adventure, talks about the philosophy. And, they were really going for a way that they could have the adventure broken up into chunks such that they could rotate through DMs. They could get players playing right away. All really noble ideas. I think just some of the keep stuff falls flat, really, for that. Then it talks about sandboxy, and there is like an overarching kind of plot that you can go for. I don't know if this article has it. But the cult that's leading these caves of chaos, they have kind of an artifact there that really giving them power. And to destroy that is like, in theory, could be one of the main goals of the adventure. It tells you how to destroy it. It doesn't say that's the goal of the adventure. It's left up to the party if they want to do that, which is kind of nice. But definitely, if you go through the adventure and go back to the adventure itself, look for everywhere where there's knowledge checks in the adventure. This is something I do when I'm getting ready to run an adventure. Share this. So you have the keep. You have in the next chapter the caves of chaos, or the wilderness. So you can go here. You can do a find for intel. And every guy have intelligence, nature checks. That's kind of the things you can maybe pre-tell the party about. So I look for that kind of stuff, any kind of intelligence checks that are nature or religion or anything like that. I gather all those out of the adventure, and I look at kind of what's the end point of the adventure. Would the party have any knowledge that would help them with that? And then share that individually with the players ahead of time. And I do that and you guys can just look in the video for the DM tips, where I gather all that down here in the bottom of the video. So knowledge, arcana, history, nature, religion. And I look for players that have skills in these things, and I try and share like 1 or 2 with each player that has the appropriate skill. So there is a sacred spring deep in the North Forest. And it's hard to find. There's several ways to find it. You can just run into it by accident, but then you don't run into it again. You can make friends with some sprites who can lead you to it. You can make friends with the stag that'll lead you to it. Your party, Sam, ran into that stag, but you left it alone. Yeah.
Yes.
Left it alone. There is a, quote, hermit in the forest who can give you knowledge of it. So, but this seed just tells you there's a spring there. You can't fight it twice. Sprites know about it. Then there's this seed here that tells about an iron tome, describing a chaos spell, its power, along with how to destroy it. So now you got, are we supposed to destroy this spell? Until recently, the temple's head priest was a woman named Iblis, and she recently departed the keep on a long-anticipated pilgrimage, left a large collection of books behind. Did anyone pick up when you first met Iblis that was that Iblis?
No, but one of us in our group, RL did.
Yeah, he did. Yep. So she, was originally from the keep and was kind of setting things up before she left and became a permanent leader of the cult. There's a conjurer of dubious renown layered in the caves of chaos, and this cave was in the north face of the ravine. And then some stuff, other nature stuff. So I try and set that all up ahead of time, and then
Tom,
yeah.
I have a question about what did you put the 4 or 5 different pathways to the spring in, or was that written in the book, in the campaign?
I kind of put them in.
Okay.
The way it's written in the book, I think it does write in that the stag will lead you there. And I think that's the only one.
Well, I thought it was really good when we kind of realized, oh, we have this path, or this path to be able to find that spring. I thought that was encouraging.
Yeah. And then, of course, the hermit that's there, she was kicked out of the keep by Iblis and kind of made to look bad by Iblis, so no one in the keep really trusts her and thinks she's a crazy hermit lady that lives in the woods now, and they don't go near her. But she knows Iblis is evil, and she knows about the spring. That's not written in, I don't think, but I added that she would know about the spring once you guys befriended her, which you couldn't really do until you defeated Iblis. Which I think Sam, your group, defeated Iblis, came back and told the Castilian, and then he knew Iblis, and then that's how you guys were sure it was who that was.
Yeah.
Okay, so, boy, where were we at? We were in the Caves of Chaos. Show this. So the book is laid out, or the online is laid out with the caves, the keep, the wilderness. There's a fourth book, which for some reason doesn't get a section here for the play guide. So reference book there. It's got kind of a short list of adventures. Watch your DM. The fun for the kids is kicking the tires. Absolutely. Doug says, the streamlined intro to the keep with tracking down sheep was a great change, and it felt like the stakes heightened quickly enough that it was engaging. Great alteration with the hermit as well. This ties everything together, keeping the forest setting. Love that alteration as well. One thing I didn't get a good foothold for you guys for was south. There's no reason to go south in the wilderness, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually read. I read after we played, looking to see if there was a continuation. Hypothetically, I would maybe DM it to continue in that area because it seems like there's a whole bunch more. And then it's just there's these 4 encounters in this area, these 4 encounters in this area, and that's it. There's these 2 huge, I think it's a swamp and a different type of forest. That just all it is just kind of these. They don't lead to any other dungeons or any other magic artifacts or any other plot or anything. I was very surprised. They have a lot to maybe build up, but it didn't come with.
And they built them up a lot too. Because if you look at the original adventure, let's look at this. The original adventure areas in the wilderness. They have areas outside the keep. Just kind of talks in general about it, what's around there, and how fast you can move around. You have the Mound of the Lizardmen. You have the Spider's Lair, the Raiders Camp, and the Mad Hermit. And that's it. And so those 4 encounters turned into 12 times 4, 48 encounters that you could actually run into the way they rewrote it. Now, when I've played this, no one ever goes down to the fens in the old version either, because there's no reason. There's nothing down there. I mean, if you might hear some rumors, and you can hear rumors of the new one too. And I don't recall what rumors specifically lead you to the lizard folk or the spiders. Let me see if I have that here.
I guess if you are just wandering around looking for an abducted person or something, you might end up going there instead of the capes first.
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought there would be a lot more. It really is just an up to 3 adventure then, huh?
Yeah, it is only up to the 3rd level. I don't have I had a list of all the rumors, and I went through the ones I scratched out. I don't think I have that here. No, I don't. So yeah, there's not a lot of reason to go there. There might be a few rumors, and you could throw more in if you wanted to involve it, but I don't find it all that engaging anyway. I mean, as a player, you just want to go to the caves and destroy what's there, right? I mean, there's no pull to go down to the south.
Didn't we have that mapping mission
That's the only pull that I can think of. Yeah.
To go mapping, and then we were rating whether we wanted to go to the Caves of Chaos, which sounds like adventure, or wander around maps, which, there is always the danger of getting a paper cut on that map. So that is exciting too, but
and these are laid out the same way. So in the trail region, they have the first encounter. You pull up the actual book here. So you got the wilderness. Make it good at putting things in the screen. Got the Wilderness booklet. And then you open it up, and there is 2 facing pages. Yeah, there's like 4 pages that start you off in the wilderness area and have you have your first encounter, or the first. Actually, I think it covers trail encounters. Melon. It covers all 4 encounters. So yeah, in that book, it covers the first 4 random encounters. So we come to here, share this in the trail area. You have these 4 random encounters that are covered. And then in the back, in the wilderness encounters in the back, they add to it. So here's more trail encounters. And so I did all 12 when I was running it, just set up a D12. A lot of them wouldn't make sense to repeat. And so for those, I just basically start crossing off the list. Cornflower or melon being out in the wilderness doesn't make sense. They're little kids. They get killed or captured by goblins right away. So I kind of cross those out. And the first time I re-rolled something that happened already that I crossed out, I'd have the bell toll, the chaos bell, and the party would hear it. But they have some good stuff. See, the characters can meet Malin on a daytime hike out there south of the fens, vile spiders and lizard folk. So yeah, I'd cross that one out. In fact, I swapped when I ran it the second time, Malin with the dwarf. So the dwarf was out there. And the dwarf wasn't on a daytime hike. The dwarf had been beaten up and tied up, and the party would have to rescue the dwarf. But there's a lot of good encounters there. And then if you look at the woods, there is an awesome picture in one of the booklets for a cult ritual that happens in the woods. Now, you can run this occult ritual just as written if the party runs into it early when they're like first level or something. But then later on when they're higher level, I kind of repurposed it as the remaining cultists coming here to try and stop the chaos spell from being destroyed. So
I like that it's got adjusting the difficulty in there.
That's they do that.
Typically been something that Wizards has shied away from in their adventures that they've published. So nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got wilderness with 12 encounters there in each wilderness. In the woods, you have the sacred spring. This is where the chaos spell can be destroyed. Destroying the chaos spell. The party has the chaos spell from the Shrine of Evil. Submerge the artifact in the spring. Done at night while the spring is bathed in moonlight. The bell turns to glittering ash. So that was the end of the campaign as I ran it. And it's kind of like hidden away in a random encounter in the woods, which is odd, right? But there is an article where they talk about, hey, that's kind of the central plot of the adventure, if you want to run a central plot. As far as what the bad guys are trying to prevent from happening. So there's the wilderness, and then you have the Caves of Chaos themselves, and the way it's set up is that you'd go to Kobold Lair A first. So DMA, hey, you're going to run the Kobold Lair. Here's how you run it section of the adventure. It's kind of written crazy. The kobolds are like indifferent to this armed party of adventurers coming into their cave. I didn't run them indifferent. I ran them as like, oh, we got to stop these guys. These guys are dangerous. They're going to kill us. And so I ran a little differently, but it has that so that you can have the, try to adjust the kobold attitude to be your friend. You can kill the centipedes, which does help them be your friends. I think your first group did that a little bit. And then, of course, there's a copper dragon wormling that you can rescue. And it doesn't make any mention about, does that thing stay around with the party? I, of course, said it. It's mother come get it, so it didn't stick around. But I wouldn't recommend keeping a dragon wormling around. Those things are tough.
I think there's an interesting contrast here with the kobolds who are indifferent to the party and the goblins that are clearly super wicked with the kidnapped kid and that kind of dark and funny birthday party thing. But
they're
when
not, they're not. That's not how it's written.
It's not?
No. So you gotta put that in yourself, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Because that dark.
They They don't kidnap the kid. They have a kidnapped dwarf. No mention about eating her. They had captured the birthday cake. So that's why they're having a party with the birthday cake. But it's just a cake. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to
dark.
contrast the old notion of, in 1978 or whenever, you'd go into the caves of chaos and you'd kill all these things because they were, goblins and kobolds. So duh.
Right.
And you'd kill their children because they'll just grow up to be intrinsically evil.
Yep.
And you don't need a goal other than to grab treasure and smite evil. And sort of a newer philosophy where you could maybe make friends with the kobolds, and you probably don't make friends with the goblins because they clearly deserve to be killed because they've been kidnapping and eating children. But maybe that doesn't quite track.
Yeah, not quite. You can make friends with both of them, I think, the way it's written.
Okay. So why are you even there?
You can do like the first time I ran D&D for my 5-year-old kids. They want to make friends with all the monsters of the dungeon and lead them in a revolt against the big bad of the dungeon. So you could do that if you wanted.
I've seen that dynamic, and I've seen it with adults, and that's great.
Yeah.
I've seen kobold unionization in Dungeon Adventures, that somebody wanted to organize the kobolds against their wicked boss. And hey, it's fun. We can go with that.
Mm-hmm. So by the time you get to Cave B, they settle into the format that they have for the rest of the caves. So let me blow this up full screen here for you. I can see him. DM David doesn't like making friends. Actually, he's pretty good at it. It's just he's learned that I don't have very many allies for him in most dungeons.
It's you, Tom. It's
me. It's me for sure. Okay, so here is the layout. So you got the 2-page spread, which is really nice layout, I think. They make sacrifices to make it always fit on a 2-page spread, but every cave section is in a 2-page spread. And so a DM can pick it up and say, I'm running Cave D, I'm running Cave E, and it's all self-contained and everything they need is there. Here's a look at, go back to the view of that cave. There we go. Here's a look at Cave B. The art again by, I think, Will Doyle and Stacey Allan. And it's set up so you can lay down this map. These maps come, 1 map per cave. They come with tokens for all the monsters. They come with tokens for all the treasure as well. And they instruct you to not put any of those tokens out there, just lay down the map, and the party starts exploring the map. And when they get to a place where their token will be revealed, you'll put the token down, including a treasure token, if they reveal one of those. So that's how you run it. Or that's how it's written to be run. Got some Steam methods. They have in every section a little bit about you can add monsters to make the cave longer and more difficult. You can remove monsters to make it easier and shorter. And the whole thing's written for 4 characters, so you gotta keep that in mind. So it's a little on the easy side if there's 5 of you. So you guys, if you played it, you might recall that there was probably 2 mephits in the pool instead of just 1. And then reinforcements came from 2 directions. Then there's Coatoans in there as well. And then, of course, a mimic. I'd have a mimic for the first chest you open. And treasure. And the treasure throughout is done in a random style where you would draw a card. There's like 20 magic items, and you draw one of the magic items. There's too much of a preponderance, I feel, of common magic items that don't do much.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah, I would replace all those with full-blown magic items. There's not a lot. 20 over 3 levels, divide by 5. You're not going to get too many magic items. And a lot of those are potions.
We hardly came out of that with anything permanent.
Right.
Spider climb slippers, something else.
So I would ramp that up for sure. Oh, let me get Cade back in. There you go, Cade. No worries. Let's see here. Got some chats here from Doug. think D&D's best when it's very clear who the baddies are. No one wants to feel badly about the gray areas and who you're fighting. The original adventure, too, you could pit. There's factions. It's always nice to have factions, right? Because then you can pit the different factions against each other.
That's right.
Let's talk about that for a moment, Tom. I was fascinated by the factions because I remember the original adventure had some pretty strong factions. And if you were inclined to that sort of style, probably more sophisticated than DM than most were when the adventure came out, but you could really lean into the factions and have them playing against each other. Fistful of dollars style if you wanted to. Was that still in here or gone? Or
there's a little bit of it. So you have the original Cave D, pretty much unchanged, still had goblins in it. The original Cave A had kobolds. And it was ridiculous how many creatures were in these caves in the original adventure. Let's just look at like room 6. I mean, just crazy numbers of occupants. In the adventure, room 6. There you go. Common kobold area. There's 17 males, 23 females, and 8 young. You're looking at over 40 kobolds in this room, which is like, that was room 6. Maybe 50 by 40. So just enormous. When I ran it, and of course the adventure says it's written for, like, the range is like 7 to 9 or something, really high number of party members, right? So I just cut it in half. I counted up all the males and females, omitted the young, and then took that total number, cut it in half. This is when I ran it just recently, because I ran this just recently in the d20play RPG that I'm writing right now, which is very akin to OD&D, Shadow Dark, First Edition D&D in Power Scale. And we were playing with 5 characters, and we ran the original Keep on the Borderlands. Maps by John Pintar. Great maps, so definitely recommend that if you want to run it the old school adventure. I would definitely cut the creatures in half. Get rid of the young, because who wants to have, discussions about do we kill the young kobolds or not? I can't believe we were 10 years old and having those discussions.
Yeah.
I wonder what my parents thought when they were listening into what we were doing. But anyway,
maybe the chick tracks are right.
KB was orcs. I mean, feedback in. Double check. I think Cade, maybe you. Do you have the setting reset on you? So B was one tribe of orcs, and then the next cave over was a second tribe of orcs, and they had a common room accessed by secret doors where they would negotiate with each other. But you could set those 2 orc tribes against each other. Well, orcs are no longer monsters; they're player character races now in 5th edition, so they had to replace those. So they're getting Mephits in this area, and this area is the Nothic. So that whole dynamic's gone. I suppose you could have the kobolds against the goblins against the kobolds. You have the ogre, who will work for whoever pays him, but he demands a large sum, and if you don't pay it, he just goes berserk on you. So it can consume a lot of gold, but that gold's not going anywhere. So if you pay him and have him kill a bunch of things for you, then come kill him later, you'll get your gold back. So no big deal there.
I hated that guy.
He's backed up by the red dragon. So it's a good thing you didn't take out your vengeance on him, because you might have perished like the second group did.
Tom, you did a great job making, what was it? Ugdug?
Ugdug, yeah.
Really villainous and annoying and detestable and stupid.
Yep.
Hats off there.
Ugdug. My favorite moment of that is somebody in our party decided to negotiate with him, and he just came out and whacked him, robbed him. It was like, I can't stand this guy.
See, I'm still getting back feed. Double check. Yeah.
Is it me? I don't think it is.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. The weird part is I don't see anyone's mic light up besides my own when I get that back feed. Strange. Okay. So yeah, you have those different factions. Oh, I think it's you, Cade. Try putting yourself on mute. Let me try it. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yep, definitely you. So just mute when you're not talking. And you'll be good. Okay. One thing you do lose by these things being self-contained is that you don't have the interconnection and the labyrinthine type adventure setting, which is kind of a shame. Like Cave A didn't go anywhere, so it was self-contained. But B could get to Cave C, I think it is on the other map. D and E are connected in the new adventure, and D and I think it's H are connected in the new adventure, so that's all good. They kept all that connection. Of course, the Hobgoblin area is not as extensive. There's some kind of random stuff going on with the knoll area in between the knolls and the temple, with like even a Medusa in there, some powerful strange creatures. The Owlbear Caves actually do connect now, so that's a connection they added. So they actually did a fairly good job, and this secret connection is still in the adventure. So I guess, I thought it was bad, but they really lost one and gained one. They kept the connections pretty good. Go back to this. So here, this one's self-contained. This is one where they lost one. This should have gone to Cave C, which is the Nothic lair. And Cave C is nice because when the party comes here, this is where they have the opportunity. And this was kind of just emergent writing, I like to call it. The party comes in here, they see a blown up summoning circle, and I think it was you, Cade, rolled super high in your Arcana check. And so I had to kind of come up with an explanation for this. And
you did great, by the way. I totally believed it.
we had in the party, one of the members of the party was playing a Minotaur. I had one one person can be a unique race, like a Minotaur in one group or a Tiefling in another group. But Minotaur is obviously a hard one to do in this adventure, which has Minotaur as a big villain. And so it's like, oh, how does that work? So I was talking with Josh, who played the Minotaur, about how did you come out of here and how would you be received back? And then this afforded the perfect opportunity where a demon spirit had been let loose. That demon spirit went and inhabited the other Minotaur, and now he's a horrible monster. So that worked out perfect. And then this cavern here is also where you find the Iron Tome. And this is where the clue about an old summoner on the north face, this was his cave. And you find the Iron Tome book. The Nothic, if you kill this carrion crawler, gives you the treasure that he has without you having to fight him. So that worked out good for everyone. There's more treasure back here. That worked out good. This is where Spade found his +1 plate armor. So the adventure has like very few magic items in it, but one of them is +1 plate mail. So
he's all about that. He was I was so happy with that. I was like, this character's made. This is good. He's set for I think 5 more levels now.
Yeah,
right.
He could go right to level 7 adventures right now. I think it'd be okay. So not well done in that regard for the adventure treasure.
Well, David got some shoes, and I
what
got
did you get? Anything?
I got something in the last thing, but it wasn't. Oh, maybe a cloak of elven kind. I wasn't set for 7 levels.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Okay, so then you got the Goblin Lair where they're having the birthday party, and then now you have a good explanation for how that can be happening. Besides, they just stole the cake. You have the Ogre Lair. Okay, so how do you run this, right? If the party just backs away from the Ogre, they're safe because he's lazy. He's not going to give chase. Doesn't care. If they try to bargain with him, he's not going to take any bargaining. He's just going to try and smash them. If they pay the gold, he'll go kill things for them, and then they get the gold back later. If they fight him, and by 2nd level they probably can beat him, maybe even at 1st level they can beat him, then the dragon comes out, and that's going to be horrendous. And I tried to, as much as I could, telegraph the danger of fighting a red dragon. Had him spread his wings and screech out and claim dominance over the ogre body, and given every chance for the party to run. But they did not run. And if you watch back the video carefully, I hate to say that I'm telling you this, I made a mistake that they could have killed the dragon the first time. They didn't catch it. I didn't catch it, of course. One of them had a saving throw versus the dragon breath that they rolled it. I'm like, oh crap, you failed. Gave them the damage, but they had actually made the save because we didn't add their saving throw modifier on. Might not have made a difference, but I felt bad after that. Not bad enough to redo things, but
Now,
I'm not going to rewind time.
Every party member but one was killed in this
Yeah.
encounter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every party member won.
The one party member who survived, the first turn, I think he does what a
Firebolt?
false life? The false life, I think he does first. And he, I think he did a check and saw that he knows that it's immune to fire damage.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the only spell he cast that battle. Every other turn, he was running away. And I was like, no, this is doable, maybe. I was so into it.
I think he said, all I do is I only have a cantrip that does firebolt. That's all I can do. And he just ran away.
Yeah, he had no spell slots left. I was like, I had my berries ready to get everyone up. I had 6 more revives. I was like, got this.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the one that you guys had done a lot of adventuring in that.
Yeah.
That was after everything else, yeah. There was a samurai guy. Sorry.
Doug says, in game, it felt disorienting to figure out which cave was which and where they were in relation to one another. Might be an artifact of online play. Yeah, probably. And then,
they looked like the cave entrances had pretty good definitions of right? I don't know if that came up on our maps, but there's one picture where each entrance had a unique lighting and right?
There's a picture, yeah. So if I come to here. So on the maps where I had the players playing, of course, they couldn't see in these caves, but I put in big letters cave, but it's kind of hard this is a really hard map. To have an overland map and an underground map that overlaps so much, and the overland map has to have levels for the caves to make sense. This cave is higher up here, this cave's at the ground level. This cave up here is way up high, and this is the highest cave in the whole place, right over here. I put the big letters the word cave by each of these to try and orientate them, but yeah, it wasn't the best. There's a picture here the party can see of various cave mouths.
Yeah, that does a lot to differentiate them, right?
Yeah.
Those cave mouths.
I believe that this follows sort of the convention of the caves closer to the entrance being easier foes and dangers than the ones deeper down. So it kind of parallels the dungeon model of, early D&D, where the deeper you go or the further into the cavern, the more difficult it becomes.
Yeah, you have A, B, and C are all first level. D is first level. And then you got second. This is third, which is weird. Second, and third. So it kind of does that. You can find out from, I think, the kobolds and others that there's an owlbear here. Doug tells you about the owlbear, I think. So this is a dangerous cave. I'm not sharing the tab, sorry. There's the caves. Levels 1 plus 2 to 3 and 3 up there.
I don't think you shared that with us. That's a pretty nice graphic.
That's the map, yeah. I should have had that up on the screen all the time.
Yeah.
So there's the caves. Got the ogre lair, got the hobgoblin lair. You guys didn't explore that very much because there's a gelatinous cube in there, kind of just circling. It also connects to the goblins. You have the shunned cave.
Too soon.
You have the shunned cave where you come in at ground level, fight the owlbear, but then it connects to the temple. You can go straight into the main chamber of the temple through here. And so that's interesting. The party can really get right at the heart of the whole place pretty quick. In fact, there's not a lot of good funneling, if we go back to exploring the caves, of getting the party up to the cave J, even cave F very much. There's really no reason for the party to go those places. They're going to mostly, I think, they have to hit C to find out how to destroy the bell. And then H is bugbears, I is minotaur, G is owlbear, K is the main one. They're likely not going to go down to J, or maybe F even, which none of you guys did. Then got the Shun Caves. This is where the owlbear is. Then you got the bugbear lair here, and it's got a secret connection to the minotaur lair. And the minotaur lair, the minotaur was a little underwhelming. Party was only second level, I think, when they found him, and dispatched him pretty easy. And then you got the knoll there, which is way off to the top that no one's going to come to probably. And then you got the Shrine of Evil Chaos. And it's kind of disappointingly compact. To fit onto one map, it had to be. If you look back at the original adventure, it was really sprawling. You'd come into Cave K here, and you have these long hallways. This temple area was replicated in the Knoll Caves in the new version. You have this chapel here, which is really dark. Then you have where priests lived, where the undead were, and then the chapel, and then how the leader, flees. So a little bit more sprawling, a little bit more menacing, and you don't get all that with the new version. Pintar's maps.
It just seemed like when we went into that, it was one big fight.
Yeah.
They just, because of I could see it being spaced out better with a larger complex there.
Yeah. Yeah, and the end fight, another thing I'll often do when I'm prepping adventures, look at the end fight, and is it tough enough? And this one was way underpowered. You get to the end fight in this thing, and you're fighting the cult leader. And the cult leader is Ivlis, and she is CR2.
Oh.
So a party of, by this time, 3rd level, 5 of them would have wiped the floor with her 49 hit points, armor class 13, in no time. So I beefed her up just by doing more damage. She was still kind of a pushover. Did more damage, the 1.2 times whatever damage rating was there, and multiplied her hit points by 1.5, so she's up to like 70 hit points. But she still had to run pretty quick. And they also have it so that she is separated from her subcultist. So the subcultist is here. The party's got to go through a ogre zombie to get in, and then they have the subcultist here who summons skeletons and zombies, only 4 of each.
I think we're on the Ivlis page.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Skeletons and zombies, only 4 of each, and the adventure is written. And then she's hidden away in her chamber, so she's not contributing. So in the end, I moved her to the throne. I kept him here, multiplied both their hit points by 1.5, had them both doing more damage, made it 8 skeletons and 8 zombies, and that was about right. I mean, it wasn't too bad.
That was a fun and quite dangerous encounter.
Yeah.
We had to run the first time. So
and as you should, because you kind of found it at the end of an adventuring day, just as an afterthought. Oh, let's go see what's in here. Oh, shit, let's get out of here. And the other group, they came up here like right away in their 4th session, and they were guns a-blazing. And I had her in that main room, and it was a fight, but they prevailed pretty quick. And she's running and fleeing and getting away and going down the stairs, and they chase her down and kill her. But as she's running down those stairs, she's crying out something in Draconic, which none of them spoke Draconic. So, of course, they had faced that red dragon before, right? And had really almost killed him. So the red dragon had moved into the caves below, the Shun Caves where the owlbear had been killed. And he was nesting where the owlbear, he was actually nesting up here, perched on the ledge. He had burned up the nests. They're all charred ruin. Moved his treasure in here, and when she came crying and calling, he ran up these stairs, which lead to the temple itself, and the party had to fight him. And oh my God, I've never seen such great rolls in my life. He comes into that chamber, breathes twice on the party. The first time, luckily, a tiefling was in the area and one other, but the tiefling, of course, only took 1/4 of the damage. They breathed again, but then the party rolled 3 criticals and a dirty 20 in 4 rolls. Just an amazing run. And they defeated the dragon and were victorious and took the chaos spell. What do you think of that battle, Sam?
That was good. I was gonna say we were totally fresh. Like I think Spade had his second wind just for that front guard to just tank that first hit and just heal it right back. Like we were ready to roll. And then also our caster had his full array of AoE for all those skeletons, all those zombies. They just fell.
Several shatters later, they were down.
That was very good.
Yeah.
And then we totally crushed the RNG on that dragon fight. Just crit and then crit, and it's like, oh wait, he's almost down. All right. This looks actually pretty good now.
So then you guys got the cult leaders destroyed. You have the bell, and you got to get the bell. So you take the bell back. I think both groups took the bell back to the keep and rested, got an extended rest at the keep, and then headed out into the wilderness to find how to destroy the keep. And both groups had by this time found the Iron Tome, which told them to destroy it under moonlight in the moonlit pool. One group thought that meant a full moon and spent some time waiting for the full moon that they have to wait for.
Yeah, I had assumed that too.
Yeah. Maybe I said that at some point.
I think moonlight, there's so much with magic, in other
full moon,
things. It's like, it's a full moon spell type of thing, but moonlight exists at other times. It's true.
Okay, so then let's look at what we did there. So we get to the wilderness. And you're in the woods. You find out you have to go destroy. You find out where the pool is, but you also find out that there's going to be a ritual here. And this is where that picture comes in. Let me share that. These maps, by the way, that I'm using here, these are by Heroic Maps. And he has a bundle where you can buy all the maps for the adventure for like $9.99. So definitely look for the bundle. So here is the ritual location. And this they have a picture of this that's in one of the books. I think it's in the How to Play book, if I recall correctly. But it's an awesome picture. Performing ritual. Yeah, the statue. And then I'm like, okay, so what are they doing with this ritual? So I had them summoning out shadow demons, which actually look a lot like that thing, with antlers and such. And so that worked out perfect. The party, stopped the ritual, defeated the shadow demons that had already been summoned. One fled so that it could be there to stop them from destroying the bell. They come to bring the bell to the pool under the moonlight. I forget how many you guys faced in the first group. I think it was 1. In the second group, they faced 2 at the pool. One lured them away, and they were fighting it north of the pool, and they had left the bell in the pool there. And the other one came and started pulling the bell out of the pool. And only their wizard was left to chase it, while the rest of the party defeated that other shadow demon. And finally, though, the party, ran back and helped the wizard defeat the other shadow demon, and then put the bell back in the pool and destroyed it. And that was the end. What do you guys think of the ending overall?
Well, I want to say that I was so thrilled that I got to cast Tensor's floating disc to be able to carry the bell on.
Yeah.
That I was like, I'm so glad that came into play.
I low-key loved that because it's not a spell that turns out to be super useful, and there it was, perfect for the circumstances.
I thought with the encumbrance rules we were doing, I was thinking this has got to come up at some point, because it never comes up in any game I've ever played, and I was so happy to be able to cast that.
Doug says, fire rules for a fiery dragon. That felt like it was a close fight, but the crits tipped things really quickly. Exceptional demon RP from Tom. Thank you. Okay, so overall, I'd definitely recommend this adventure. I would definitely recommend tweaking the keep to do away with anything that's like a little fetch quest or a little um, chore to do. But then I think after you do that, and if you kind of dig into the lore that's in here that you can use, and the party doesn't have to do the way your guys' parties did it, you can do whatever you want. There's a lot there. It's a really good product, I think. What were your thoughts, David?
Well, going on that, it was a little surprising to me that the mission structure wasn't stronger, and that's something I might beef up if I ran it, because I've run into a lot of players now, and this is fine. I'm with them, where they really don't resonate with the sort of just go in hunting treasures. They want to do something virtuous too, smiting evil, and the mission thing, the plot thread really helps that. And I think you added that kind of, so that came through. But what
it was
cool,
there, the underlying bones of it were there. And here's the article. Share this article. So you can look for behind the screen tips for running Heroes of the Borderlands, threading together the story. Here we go. So at the behest of the Castilian, the characters depart the keep for the Caves of Chaos, gain levels, work their way up to greater challenges. As they explore the caves, they learn about the forces of chaos within. They could discover the Iron Tome. Ugdug, the Ogre Mercenary, might tell them about the Cult of Chaos if they ask about either his off-limits caves, his brother was slain by the owlbear and subsequently reanimated by cultists, serve as bodyguard. I mean, you guys knew all that. You found the Iron Tome, which tells you how to destroy the Chaos Bell. Might encounter members of the Cult of Chaos in the cult barracks, so you could capture a cultist. But it's not really, tied together really well. And I think you want to start foreshadowing this stuff with things people know ahead of time, too.
But I loved the sandbox play. That was so fun. I've played so many adventures lately in the last few years where, you get one clue, one lead, or one door to go through, and you just sort of dutifully go from one encounter to the next. And you don't feel like there's a great deal of decision making or autonomy that you enjoy beyond, your battle tactics. So getting into a sandbox like this, where not only were we free to go wherever we wanted, but we felt a real sense of peril, because obviously our DM was quite willing to kill characters indiscriminately. So you had that excitement of the sense of peril that was running through the whole thing, and the fun of really having that extra autonomy with the sandbox. So that was chef's kiss. Loved it.
Yeah. I would say that well, I was kind of running things through the mind and looking at my son, who's 14, and he's been having some of his friends play with him. And I think this would be a great set for real beginners, especially like in person with the tokens, the really tactile. Here's how you make your characters. Here's how you do those things. And I think that with a little bit of guidance on how to get the adventure rolling, I like everything that David said about the sandbox, and the story emerged as we played. And I think that is, and I think that's just great for that. So I wish this had been around 6 months earlier when my son was teaching his first group to play.
Yeah. Sam, what do you think of it?
I was gonna say I liked it. As if you can, as like a starting adventure for newer players, I think if you can get kind of the expectations as a DM, kind of communicate like going into this area, you're basically just rolling for an encounter. It's not like, a fully fledged exploring a forest thing, like, so they know they're kind of just like running into stuff or not necessarily running into story stuff. That would be maybe a minor thing. And then also another minor thing, maybe specifically placing magic items and maybe making the common magic items just kind of available really easily and maybe take them out of the pool, or maybe having like a tiered setup thing where like something like plate armor +1 is maybe always behind a bigger boss, and maybe the potions are a bit of medium accessibility or something like that. Other than that, it was really good and I enjoyed it.
I think you're spot on the magic. It's just, and they do this a lot in their adventures for some reason. They just don't put enough magic items in there, I don't think. I mean, gosh, we were playing Vecna and it's been terrible for magic items, the low level Vecna adventures. These guys are 14th level characters. They find a few, uncommon magic items. And this one was the same way. All those, I don't know what fascination they have with their common magic items. I find them just disappointing to find. Why do I want a Cloak of Billowing? I mean, why did I roll a random magic item check to get a Cloak of Billowing? I do not get their fascination with those things.
It's a magic item that asks nothing of the DM because it's not gonna change the campaign in any meaningful way.
Yeah.
Unlike plate armor +1, which is hella good.
Yeah.
At
really overpowered.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't have plate armor yet, you have chainmail. So you're not only going from
you can't even afford plate armor.
To plate armor.
Yeah.
Right.
That was fantastic.
I think one thing that was interesting is having this being played out in our groups at the same time that I got to play Road to Broadhurst in the first session of Delian Tomb, and then been listening to Delian Tomb unpack and see how you had really similar sandboxes.
Yeah.
But I would say that Delian Tomb might have been a little more, well, I think it's a more compelling adventure. Both very good sandboxes, but I think Delian Tomb has some things that really push the narrative forward.
Delian Tomb, we might do next week a recap on Delian Tomb. Get some players to play that one and go through that one. It had, of course, the free adventure to get there, which is kind of nice. They could do a free adventure to get to Borderlands and have everything you need to be introduced to how to play. And then, of course, Delian Tomb introduced you how to play in their first level of the tomb. They kind of roll you into the different things on how to play there. So they're doing that similar. They have a real strong call to action to a real simple little dungeon, which you can kind of replicate here. It's not written in here at all to do anything like that, but you certainly could replicate it with a rescue mission to go get Malin. And I'd recommend that. Something to get the party in the action if they're not self-starters. If it's a group that don't know each other, a group playing online, they're all random people, something to get them going, give them an opportunity to get going is a really good thing. And then Delian Tomb, the other thing it had was a timeline for everyone's actions. So there's another party in town. What's their timeline? It tells you that. And there's some bandits nearby. What's their timeline? And if you spend too much time just hanging out in town, things happen. And what is the Goblin timeline? What they're going to do? So this could really benefit from what is the cult's timeline, and are they going to come attack the keep for real or not? And they're woefully underpowered to attack the keep. There's few of them, so that'd have to change a little bit. And the keep is so well defended, whereas Delian Tomb has got a village that you can just walk into the town square. And so when the goblins come to attack in the Delian Tomb, it's going to be a bad thing. Whereas here, they couldn't breach the walls here. So that's a little thing that you could tweak here. I really like the Delian Tomb format. Really well done, I think. I don't know if they just accidentally figured that out and got lucky, or if they're just all geniuses over there, but they did a good job. Any final thoughts, David?
Well, back in the end of 2024, I wrote a blog post, every D&D adventure that includes DM advice and what they taught.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that I talked about, if somebody's curious who's watching this, is keep on the Borderlands, because Gary had some pretty grand pep talks for potential DMs in there. That's a little fun.
Yeah, it is really fun. What's the name of the article, David?
every I just closed my tab. From B1 to Pine Brook, every D&D adventure that includes DM advice and what they taught.
Nice. Yeah, go check out that adventure. I'll put a link. Yeah, because Dave Carr has some great advice in B1. T1. This is a great article. I'm going to have to go read this article. B10 was great. That was a fun adventure. And I love the mapping
legendary.
that they did. Yeah, the mapping that the British office did. I replicated it a lot when I first started doing adventures of my own because I loved it. Sentinel and the Gauntlet were a couple great adventures they did as well. Never in King's Festival at all. Never did that. Or Legion of Thyatis.
Yeah, this goes on for quite a while because there's a lot of adventures that have advice.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised that I bit off all this, but
that's cool. I'm going to go check that out. Yeah, if we look back at B2 Keep on the Borderlands, come in here and you get the Grandmaster telling you how to be a DM, and he basically tells you don't be too kind to the players.
there's a pep talk in there. You know,
the DM must constantly deal with the players, just as the referee of a sporting event. The DM must be fair, cannot be out to get the players, nor should he or she be on their side all the time. Yeah. Throughout it all, making decisions, playing rules, handling monsters, the DM must remember that he or she is in control. The DM is the judge, and it's his or her game. The DM should listen to the players and weigh their arguments fairly, but the final decision belongs to the DM. The Dungeon Master's word is law. Yeah. Is there a player advice in this one? B1's got good player advice in it, for sure. And it's fun to go back and read the player advice in the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook. That was some good advice there, too. I think Mike Carr wrote the forward for that, and he has great advice in the forward as well. Okay, I'm going to check out that article for sure. Sam, any final words?
Had a lot of fun. Looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. And Cade?
Go read everything DM Dave writes.
Very good. For sure.
Oh, shucks.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And I'd say go check out Heroes of the Borderlands or Heroes on the Borderlands. Heroes of the Borderlands. Good adventure. Thanks for watching, everyone.